Trump is having a hard time in the polls, and he is not taking it very well. I'm Cameron Kasky. I'm joined today by my friend Adam Mockler, and we're going to do a little schadenfreude on that. What's up, Adam?
I'm glad to be back. Let's do it.
Let's throw up that clip from CNN.
I think the simple word here is hurt. It has hurt Donald Trump's popularity. You can see it right here. We have two new polls, Quinnipiac University, AP Newark. I got the prior poll for you on the screen. I got the now. This is the net approval rating. You can see this in Quinnipiac, -12 to -16. How about AP Newark? -16 to
I mean, the color red says it all.
Awful. For both of these pollsters, where we are right now, both Quinnipiac and AP Newark, the worst for Donald Trump in this term so far. He is very much way underwater, at least in these two polls.
You know, the only competition Donald Trump has for like hitting new bottoms is himself from his first term.
Look, I got to hand it to Trump because one of the best ways to celebrate Pride Month is hitting new bottoms. But this is pretty bad for him. And he wants to be loved so much. Trump loves praise. He loves when people are all about him. But he also knows that he can just say that he's doing really well and his fans will agree. Let's watch a video of Trump kind of just doing his typical, no, I'm doing great for the press.
I think what she might be alluding to is the base is going to stay with you regardless. And you've gone through different tests, regardless. But some of the people in the base don't want a long-term war. They're afraid that we're going to get into a long-term war.
We're not looking for a long-term war. We're looking, I only want one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Right. That's it. I'm not looking long-term, short-term. And I've been saying that for 20 years. I've been saying it as a civilian who got a lot of publicity. People would cover it. Very simply, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's it. It's not a question of anything else. And if you did, you wouldn't have much of a country because they would use it on us and they'd use it on other people and there'd be a terror all over the world. So I may have some people that are a little bit unhappy now. But I have some people that are very happy, and I have people outside of the base that can't believe that this is happening. They're so happy. And there was a poll that just came out today that my approval rating's the highest it's ever been.
Nope.
All I'm doing is saying you can't have a nuclear weapon. And I tried to do it nicely, and then on day 61 I said...
There was a poll. It's the same thing as many people are saying, a lot of people have said...
Okay, I'm going to leave. Thank you very much.
Just because you say something doesn't make it true. Like many people are saying, I'm the #1 channel on YouTube. I have 4 different girlfriends and I have more money than I've ever had in my life. That's Trump's entire tactic. But on a more serious note, like beyond the jokes, the scary part about Trump's approval rating dropping is that I feel like he's going to have nothing to lose at some point. We already know he's a malignant narcissist with no reality tests, and he wants everybody to like him, of course. But we've seen that whenever there's a time of crisis, like think about COVID. In times of crisis, he gets uniquely like fragile and he loses his mind. Or what about when that DC plane crash happened over the Potomac? Remember the next morning he came out and began to blame DEI and Obama. The point is, whenever things start to go wrong, whether it's with the economy or his polling numbers, he loses any like reality tests around him and begins to turn increasingly unhinged. So that's one of my big worries, but.
Yeah, he lashes out more than anything when he's not being loved by people. I think when he's attacked, he gets really pissed, but he kind of loves the sport. You know, I think when somebody in his sphere comes after him, it triggers something in him that's like, oh, hell yeah, it's game time. You know, I think even Elon saying he was on the Epstein list obviously wasn't a sunny day in MAGA world. But I don't know, man. I think there's like this feeling in him that's like, oh, shit. Okay. It's time to get a little messy here.
And here's the thing. Trump is largely right that he has a core fan base that's not going to go away, like a core 30 to 32%. But he's wrong that he can't fracture his fan base even more. We've seen this a lot over the past week. The civil war between Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz, that's more recent, or Marjorie Taylor Greene pushing back against the Trump admin. Or like earlier I was making jokes about the tariffs and no new wars and all of these things. But on a serious note, when it comes to deportation, the Latinas for Trump co-founder came out and said, dude, we can't support this anymore. When it comes to tariffs, farmers are saying we can't support this anymore. And then finally, when it comes to this, he's losing a large portion of his fan base that voted for no new wars. So, I mean, the Civil War is going to continue escalating. And he thinks that he can shoot someone on Fifth Ave, but when we're in another endless Middle Eastern war, yeah, it's not going to.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, because there's really two big wedges in Trump world right now. We've seen a couple MAGA civil wars, nothing that's that big. You know, the H-1B visas thing definitely got him fighting. But between the deportations, where there's been a lot of back and forth, right? At first, he said that he wasn't going to come after people in hotels and farms anymore. Then when Stephen Miller got involved, he walked that back and he was like, okay, never mind. And there's a lot of riffs about immigration stuff. But then there's this stuff with Trump's Israel first policy, getting us involved with Iran, including our situation where Ted Cruz even suggested that we are at war with Iran right after the White House vehemently denied that. So a lot of mess right now. I want to throw up a tweet on screen with Trump going after his friends at Fox News. Not that this is the first time that this has happened, but he says the crooked Fox News polls got the election wrong. I won by much more than they said I would, and they've been biased against me for years. They're always wrong and negative. It's why MAGA hates Fox News, even though their anchors are great.
One thing we know about Fox News is that they're very biased against Donald Trump.
Yeah, the liberal shills at Fox News. It's also interesting that he's saying Fox News is bad, but the anchors are great. Now a new Fox News poll comes out this morning giving me a little more than 50% at the border, and yet the border is miraculously perfect. All caps, nobody was able to come in last month. 60,000 people came in with Sleepy Joe in the same month last year. I hate all caps fake pollsters. One of the worst, and I don't know why worst is capitalized, but Fox will never change their discredited pollster. So Trump lashing out at Fox, again, this has happened plenty of times. It's not like there's a very steady relationship there, but Tucker versus Ted, a lot of people in MAGA are saying, like, I didn't vote for us to enter this new war. And I think the polls are only going to keep plummeting unless they get their messaging straight. That's one of the things that's happening here that's so crazy to see from MAGA is they aren't all just saying, hey, whether or not this is Trump going against what he said on the campaign, when he said that he was going to be the anti-war president. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of mixed messaging. Even Ted Cruz can't seem to give us a straight answer on whether or not we are involved in this war. What do you see as like the next couple steps of the division over the war? Do you think MAGA is going to rally and say, okay, even though we came out and spoke against this, Trump's got the right idea, we need to get involved? Or do you think there's going to be a serious rift?
So it depends on where the cards fall. First of all, I just want to talk about the Fox News portion for a second, because even beyond the whole Trump is being crazy, attacking crooked Fox News is what he called it. It's actually really scary seeing the president repeatedly use public intimidation to try to create a chilling effect. So when Trump was on Fox News a few months back, he said that he's going to talk to Rupert Murdoch and tell Rupert Murdoch to stop giving him unfavorable cover. Right around that time, he sued ABC. ABC settled for $15 million because of the George Stephanopoulos lawsuit. And then he sued Paramount. The Trump admin repeatedly sues these media companies. So when Trump is posting this on his Truth Social, yes, it's like an unhinged, manic post, but he's also using public intimidation to create this chilling effect. And this chilling effect makes it so that Fox News may be kind of careful with what they cover or how they cover it, because they know that there's a very litigious president right now. There's a president who is down to sue over anything and everything. So that's kind of a scary chilling effect. And I guess I'm implying that Fox News will somehow turn even more biased, but their polling apparatus is actually pretty solid. They have a good polling apparatus, and Trump doesn't want it to be independent. Now, when it comes to the war in Iran and Israel, it depends on how the cards fall. To be honest, if Israel ends up taking a pretty solid win, and if the cards fall in their favor, then Trump will immediately hop on board and declare victory and say he was here every step of the way. He was planning it since day one. He knew that Israel was going to win because he's a big winner. And then all of MAGA will consolidate behind him. And even the no new war people will be like, oh, we knew Trump was going to win this entire time. But if things go wrong, or if there's a strike against the U.S. military or, troops somewhere in the Middle East, or if this ends up dragging out for a few months, I think we really start to see his core base erode and erode and erode. And of course, there's still going to be that floor of like 33% of the country or 33% of people that like him. But it's going to erode. It's going to continue to drop, especially because none of his promises are working. He said 90 deals in 90 days. He has 0 deals in double that time. He has wars escalating across the planet. And at the same time, his big, beautiful bill isn't passing through Congress. Elon Musk is having a manic meltdown in the White House. I just don't know what the good thing, what is good that's going on here? I just don't get it.
Did you watch the Trump movie?
The Apprentice?
Yeah.
I watched clips of it. Was it good?
Yeah, I mean, the liberal world that I love so much was kind of like, I don't want to watch a movie about this guy. And I get it, because the movie treats him like an actual 3-dimensional human being. It doesn't try to, give us any emotional sympathy for him. It doesn't try to excuse any of his behavior. It portrays him as a monster, but it portrays him as a human monster.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting look into how Roy Cohn, who's like one of the most reprehensible figures in American history that doesn't get talked about enough, shaped Trump and sort of groomed him into this person that he is today. And if you go back and look at Roy Cohn and how he went about doing things, and if you go back and look at their relationship with each other, it actually paints a very clear picture of how the art of the deal Trump style came together. This is the movie review channel, but it's like part of Roy Cohn's playbook for Trump was always claim victory, never admit defeat. And that's sort of what comes to mind when you're talking about what he's going to do with Israel. I agree. I think it's just going to be every time there's a W, he's going to be like, yeah, you have us to thank. And every time something disastrous happens, he's going to be like, well, that wasn't me. That's not my problem. So I'm wondering where this is going to go. I'm wondering what the next thing that's going to draw media attention elsewhere is going to be. It's going to be hard to outdo fucking war with Iran.
Yeah.
War with Iran outshining immigration in terms of mainstream media coverage makes sense, as badly as we need to keep telling these stories about this disastrous immigration policy. But, it's going to be hard to show up war with Iran. Like, Trump can't announce some Gulf of America distraction bullshit and get people to stop talking about the fact that he is very sloppily getting us involved with another war.
I didn't think they would be able to pivot from the Elon headlines. So, the fact that the headlines have already, changed is wild. But I've done a lot of research about Roy Cohn, and I find it really interesting because when the never admit defeat thing connects directly to the 2020 election. Roy Cohn from the grave, 50 years later, was dictating the entire discourse of the country because he had to teach Trump to never back down. And it's funny because Roy Cohn was a super closeted dude in New York. If you read about it, apparently none of this is funny, but Trump cut him off at the end of Roy Cohn's life when he got diagnosed with AIDS. And Trump said, I don't really want to be by your side anymore. This is embarrassing. So it just shows.
That's all in the movie, dude.
Oh, that's all in the movie?
That's all in the movie.
So it shows.
Listen, everybody, I'm sorry. You should watch The Apprentice. That shit kind of rocked. It's not fun to watch Donald Trump, but Sebastian Stan killed it. Jeremy Strong was so good as Roy Cohn, who Roy Cohn to Trump was what Peter Thiel was to JD Vance in many ways, sort of the shaper of his playbook. Jeremy Strong from Succession was so fucking good as Roy Cohn that Roger Stone put out a tweet that was like, look, it brings me no pleasure to say this. Roy Cohn was my friend. Love Roy Cohn. He's the best. But Jeremy Strong did an unbelievable job playing him and deserves the Oscar. I hate to say it. With that, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Go watch The Apprentice and come to FY Pod and the Adam Mockler channel, maybe for a few more movie reviews. Adam, thanks so much for joining.
Let's do it again, brother.